Hey everybody, Darren Rhodes here. Thanks for spending your time with me today. I know you're super busy, so I hope I've got some information that'll be worth your time and it'll be really helpful. I'm just going to jump right into it. Let's get into this, okay? Today, I'm going to pull the curtain back and show you how to crush your monthly debt payments with a cash out refinance mortgage without starting over. Okay, so just really quickly, coming to you from the base of beautiful Mount Timpanogos, where my office is here in American Fork. Run a little mortgage team, Utah Mortgage Pros, and my business partner and I have been doing this for, almost 20 years. So seen a lot of different scenarios, and hopefully some of this experience we have will benefit you today. All right, so I'm going to show you today a killer strategy that we use frequently to get people ahead on their finances, even though you might be raising your loan balance. Okay? Cool strategy to get ahead of those pesky debts. But here's the trick. I'm going to show you how not to start the 30-year clock again. I'm going to show you how to pay less interest overall, even though you might be raising your loan balance. I'm going to show you how to pay off your loan even earlier than your current loan. And I'm going to show you how to do all of this stuff without any funky or weird or crazy products or money maneuvering, shuffling money in and out of accounts every month or anything like that. This is using common loans, maybe in kind of an uncommon way, or at least a way that you're not traditionally familiar with. Okay, so let's just jump right into a scenario. Now this scenario is a common scenario for our marketplace. It may not be your scenario, but there might be elements of this scenario that are pretty close to where you're at, but it should be pretty common for what our marketplace bears. Okay, so let's say that a buyer bought a home 5 years ago here in our market, and they bought the house for $300,000, and as typical with a conventional loan, they put 5% down. If they had a 30-year fixed interest rate at 4.5%, their loan amount would be $285,000, and their current principal balance now, 5 years later, would be $260,000. So that's what they would owe after 5 years, okay? And their payment would look like a $1,444 on the principal and interest. They would have about $130 a month in mortgage insurance, give or take, but in that range. Taxes and insurance would also be about $200 a month, give or take, again. But overall, the total payment that somebody would have in that scenario would be right around that $1,774 range total out the door, with all of those things factored in. Again, this is not probably exactly your scenario, but it's going to give you a pretty good idea of how the comparisons work out. Okay? Now let's say in that last 5 years, they pulled in a little bit of debt, got a car loan, had medical bills, and then racked up a little bit of credit cards. So now this buyer ended up with $25,000 in debt. And in addition to that, now their monthly debt payments are $610 a month. Okay? Now some of these debt payments might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less, but that should be a pretty close range to what these debt payments would be. Okay, again, just a scenario. And so if you add the debt payments together with the house payment, then the total monthly obligation is $2,384 per month. Okay, so now the client says, Darren, I want to restructure my debt. I want to see if I can better my situation. What do you recommend? So we would look at different loan products, loan setups, but one that we would look at is this. Let's say that the home now, 5 years later, is worth $390,000. And that might be a pretty decent estimate. It might be worth more, might be worth less, but $390,000 in 5 years over the last, in our market, would be probably fairly accurate. So if the borrower said, well, I want to take $30,000 out, so my new loan balance would be $290,000, because remember they owe $260,000. I said, great, all right. Now here's something cool to make this so you don't have to restart the clock on that 30-year. Why don't we look at doing a 25-year fixed loan versus a new 30-year fixed loan? What the heck? I'm often asked. I didn't know loans came in 25-year terms. I thought it was 15 years or 30 years. Well, as it turns out, you can not only do a 15-year, you can do a 20-year, or you can do a 28-year, or 22-year, 23-year. You can pick any term you want between 15 and 30 years. And so, in this scenario, since the buyer had already been into the loan for 5 years, instead of restarting the clock at 30, we would look at doing a 25-year loan. So what would that look like? So not restarting the clock, right? What would that look like? Well, a 25-year loan, if it was at 3.75% in today's market, which would be an APR of 3.8%, would have a principal and interest amount of $1,490, would have a zero mortgage insurance amount because they're borrowing less than 80% of the value of the home, and of course the taxes and insurance would remain the same. So their total payment in this scenario would be $1,690, which is actually less than their current loan right now. And they're taking $30,000 more. So what does that do to the cash flow? Well, check this out. Current cash flow, they're paying $2,384 a month. But now, with the cash out refinance on the 25-year loan, we're going to pay off the car loan, the medical bills, and the credit cards, and all of that will be wrapped into one payment of $1,690. So how much is that monthly savings? That is $694 a month, which is almost $700 a month. So I don't know anybody that wouldn't want to have an extra $700 or so in their pocket every single month. So then the question always comes up, well, Darren, if I take these little loans that are going to be paid off in just a few years, and I put them into a much longer loan, won't I be paying more interest over time? I mean, I'm just going to be stretching these things out forever, right? Well, let's look at the math. Okay, so option one is to do nothing. And that means you're going to keep your current loan for the remaining 25 years in this scenario, and then you would pay interest on the debts that never got paid off. Okay? So the remaining mortgage interest just on the mortgage itself is $174,391. So you keep your current loan all the way out to the end of 25 years, you're going to be paying, you have $174,000 and change in interest left to go, plus your mortgage insurance, plus the interest that you're paying on your current debts. Okay? So what about the interest then? How does that compare on a new 25-year plan? Well, the new interest on the new loan, even though the balance is higher, over 25 years is $157,294. So that is a $17,000 savings in interest over doing nothing, and that doesn't include knocking out the mortgage insurance or the interest on the other debts. That's a huge savings huge savings in interest overall. Huge. Okay? So let me show you one other thing. Sometimes I get people that say, you know what, my debt payments are fine, I can handle them, no problem, but how do I leverage this extra money? Well, you could take that extra money, you could put it in investments, you could put it in savings, you could put it wherever you wanted to go on a monthly basis, but what if you were to take some of that and actually put it back against the new loan? So you're going to pay a little bit extra on the new loan. Well, I wrote out this little chart for you so you can see what that's like. And I even did that little chalkboard font. Anyway, so let's say of your $694, you wanted to put $200 of that on top of the mortgage payment every single month. So you're adding extra $200 every month. Well, what would that do? That would take your new loan, the 25-year loan, and it would turn it into a 20.5-year loan, and you would save an additional $31,000 in interest over the life of that loan. What if you said, you know what, I want to pocket $394 and I'm going to put $300 against my payment, then $300 additional, I should say. Well, that would turn your loan into a 19-year loan and save you $42,482 in interest. And what if you said, you know what, I'm good with my cash flow right now, I just want to take most of my additional savings and I'm just going to put it back on my mortgage and pay that down faster. What would that do? Well, that would change your loan to a 15.3-year loan, and you would save an additional $66,000 and change above the 17 that you're already saving by switching to a 25-year. So, and then you'd still get $94 in your pocket a month. So this is a crazy cool way to look at setting up loans to get you ahead, to use commonplace market tools and thinking and math and putting it all together so that you can get ahead financially. Get out of those pesky debts. So if this sounds interesting to you and you would like some help looking at some of this stuff, we would be delighted to help you walk through some of these scenarios and walk through your specific scenario to see what's out there for you. So the question is, what do you do now? This is going to be simple. Simply just click the link down below and enter your brief information. There's not much, just a few questions, just contact information really. And my team, myself, Eric or Rachel or myself, will reach out to you personally and we'll schedule a time to go through our 7-question analysis where we ask 7 questions that help us get all the right data points on your scenario, and then we'll review those numbers with you and to see what kind of opportunities that you might have to save money for you and your life and your household. So we'll give you direction, we'll give you advice, and if it looks like there's things that or a way to move forward that makes sense to you, then we'll give you instructions on how to easily apply. So it's a very simple process. It just takes some good thinking and it takes some good analytics of the data and a little creativity. So click the link down below. And here's the thing too. If there's nothing out there for you, if you already have a great scenario that can't be bettered by what's already in the marketplace, well then we're not going to recommend it. So here's the thing. Please, please, please remember, everybody has a different scenario and results will not be the same for everyone. So the scenario that I laid out for you today should seem familiar, but it's not going to be exactly your scenario. We need to get the scenario based on what your criteria is and what your needs are. And honestly, not everyone's going to qualify. There might be some issues with credit, or there might be some issues with home values, or something like that. But let's at least take a look at it. Also, please, please, please remember, interest rates and loan programs are always subject to change, and they change daily. So time is of the essence. So click the button down below. Let's get you started. Let's at least look at what options are out there, and if it makes sense, we're going to rock and roll. Okay? All right. Well, I hope you found this helpful today. I hope this information was worth your time. I appreciate you spending your time with me. If this helps you or anybody you may know, why don't you share it with them? And make sure you click the button down below. We're not going to pressure you, but we're going to see if there's some great opportunities out there for you. So thanks again. Again, this is Darren, and I hope you have a good one.